Hey everyone, I'm back here again to do a review of a very controversial game that split a lot of people down the middle. Far Cry 2. Far Cry 2 is an interesting game in the fact that it's not exactly a GTA clone, but it's not a limited adventure game either. Far Cry 2 takes place in Africa, which you're tasked with the fact of hunting down the Jackal, which is the guy who armed both of the sides in this game. So you have to capture him, and as you can guess, the story spirals out of control, and you're kind of left in the middle. The story does kind of take a backseat to the gameplay, but I found the ending to be very nice, and a lot of twists and turns were along the way. So it was better than your typical shooter, let's put it that way. As for the actual gameplay of Far Cry, this is where it starts to get a bit sketchy. People see Far Cry as a linear sort of wannabe GTA, linear, don't really force along paths, have to travel lots of long distances, and that's how some people see Far Cry. And I'm gonna say it right now, you do have to do a lot of traveling in this game, and that's probably gonna be a big bummer for these guys. I mean, the first 20 hours of the game were fine for me because I was interested in it, but near the end game I definitely got bored and stopped playing it actually altogether for a while. I just beat it recently, because I don't review games unless I beat them. So, yeah, was my biggest concern with Far Cry 2, and I can see how a lot of people get PO'd over it. But if you can get past that aspect, Far Cry 2 has gunfights which, I'm going to say, rival that of Fear's. I can't wait for Fear 2. Yeah. So, onto the graphics of Far Cry. Far Cry 2 has probably some of the best graphics I've ever seen on a console. Not entirely sure why. It's just, I don't know, it's beautiful in all of Africa, and even though it does use greens and browns a lot, there still is a lot to see, and the fire effects are amazing, and the graphics of this game are just totally insane. I don't know what you PC users get, but I got it for 360 and it's amazing. So, that's the graphics. You wind up buying weapons in this game through collecting diamonds. So what you have to do is do missions, and there's plenty of side missions, assassination missions, you know, armored convoy missions, but they're not all that varied. All the missions are basically the same. Go here, kill this guy, that's it. Which is fine, because most of the time these are pretty interesting when you get to them from all the driving. But it does start to get repetitive after a while, so Far Cry 2 is a game you probably want to play in small bursts, you know, a mission or two at a time. But what I liked about it was the constant upgrading. You're always upgrading your arsenal, or your weapons, or whatever else. So that always is a plus in a game like this. But, yeah. But yeah, Far Cry 2 is a game that is absolutely huge. People complained about it having narrow corridors and not being able to drive 5 feet without crashing into something. And that is true, but there's always enemy encampment, so you're constantly fighting. And this game, even when played on the easy difficulty setting, is not incredibly difficult, but it's not entirely easy either. You play it on medium and you're probably going to get a good challenge. And this game is long too. It took me 25 hours to beat on easy, but I also did all the side quests. Which brings me to another point, the interesting buddy quests of this game. Now when you get a main mission, you have the choice to get a buddy to come and help you out. If you do something for them, then they help you, and then that's what you do, is you go and you do the mission, and then you help them out, and that usually winds up upgrading your safe house. And that's a really nice little detour from what is normally just go to the place, kill the enemy, that's it. So Far Cry 2 is brimming with good ideas, but I just don't think people have given this game enough chance. I mean, they see it as just a drab, do this, go here, game, and really it's not that. It's a lot deeper gameplay, and the story is pretty good, and the graphics are amazing. So I applaud them for trying out new things. Not all of them work. And the multiplayer, I don't know what the multiplayer is on PC, but on 360 it's obsolete. So I wouldn't recommend this game for the multiplayer. But definitely come and check this game out. I definitely give it a rental. And if you're even a fan of this sort of going and mercenary type gameplay, I would say pick it up. Because Far Cry 2 is one of the best looking games of this generation. And definitely a deep action shooter, if you take it as that and not a free open world game like GTA. Alright, thank you for the review.